What is going on? Welcome to episode 168 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Player 2 on this one, Hate Zero. What's up, man?
What's going on? And what up, NPC fam? It is your boy, Hate Zero, your hero.
It's only been like a month since we've had you on.
It's been a hot minute. I almost forgot my intro. It was going to be a bad day, but we're okay. We're okay.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. It's just the two of us. So, Mel, we'll see you soon. Destinat, I don't know if we'll ever see you. I don't know. I'm not real sure.
Come back to us, wherever you are.
Come back. All right, guys. Well, that music you're hearing is from On Being Human. You can check them out on Spotify and YouTube. Remember, this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. And if you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. Pick up something awesome like Ready Player One or Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. Go to n64josh.com/OP Seat. You'll automatically save $10 at checkout. And hey, my book Another Castle is now available, and I decided to make the first chapter available for free. So if you want to be able to check it out, go to n64josh.com/anothercastle. If you don't feel like typing that out, you can go just to n64josh.com, and in the menu tab you can click the Another Castle tab and it'll take you right to the sales page. Go to chapter 1. You're going to click the little box, go to chapter 1, put in 0 as your price, and the first chapter is free if you want to see how the book starts. So that is that. We're going to get to our announcements.
Hey, listen!
All right. Well, we got the weekly Mario Golf tournament happening on 3DS. Check the Discord for those details. Weekly Mario Kart tournament is happening, and I got to give a shout out to Nightcrawler. He took it this week by I think 5 points. So I'll get you next week, you meddling kids. And so we're trying to do those on Monday nights. Jump into the Discord if you want to be able to race with us. It's a pretty good time. We all jumped into chat and we're kind of trash talking and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Mild trash talking. The second Saturday of each month, we got a Smash Bros tournament. Go to n64josh.com/Smash Bros tournament to see that. Guys, we always talk about the Discord at the end. Come hang out in the Discord. n64josh.com/Discord. A lot of great people. If you're looking to play Smash or Rocket League or Fortnite, whatever you're into, we got people in there playing. Diablo 3 new season is among us, or is finally here. So yeah, if you're looking for people to play games with, it's a good group to do that. So lastly, I do stream on Twitch 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I'm live. We have the Smash Bros cast on Fridays. I also do first looks in the AM. I think I'm going to start sleeping in a little bit on Friday mornings just to kind of catch up, but we'll see. I usually don't sleep in. I still get up even though I try not to. It's just the way it works. But and just a little bit about Twitch, guys. My goal for this year is to get partnered, and I need your help to do that. So if you are anywhere near a computer or you have an extra iPad laying around or a phone, whatever, if you know that I'm live and you can even just fire up a device just to be in the chat, you don't have to interact or whatever, it is so very helpful. And when I can get up to 75 average viewers, that's when I can apply for partnership. So right now we're sitting at about 22 average viewers, and I've seen the stream as many as 71 people in there so for this month. So if you can help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, the last thing, if you're listening to this on iTunes, whatever, take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram, your Twitter. We'd really appreciate that. With that, we're going to get to our reviews and impressions.
Here we go!
Okay, my man, what have you been playing?
Well, before we get to what I've been playing, I need to throw out there, if you're listening to the show and you haven't joined the Discord, you need to do it. Mainly because all these people are coming in from the Smash Bros cast. Crawler is throwing so much shade at me. I need your guys' help. NPC fam, I need your support on this one. So come in and help us out. Show some love for the NPC fam. But what I have been playing, to circle back, I went back and started Zelda again. I deleted my save, mainly because I didn't want to start on a new profile, because I knew that I would go back to it and just start playing that profile again. The game is just as good now that I've forgotten a few things. just as good as I remember it. Like it may be even better. It's the best game I've played in 2019 so far. So it's just a fantastic game. So I applaud you. If you have Breath of the Wild sitting there, go back and play it. That game is worth playing again. And then I did pick up New Super Mario Bros. U. Played that a little bit.
You playing that solo, or did you get the wife to jump in at all?
Nope, just myself so far. And I haven't played a lot. Like I did have that on the Wii U. That was one of the few games I did have. And it's a great game if you like, side-scrolling platforming Mario. Definitely pick it up. It still holds up. It's a great game. It has aged a little bit, you can definitely see they didn't change much. They added a few characters, but all in all, still a great game. Definitely worth it.
Right on. I agree. I've been loving it. I'm playing it after. So I told you I've got to be done by 8. I have a date with my daughter at 8:00. She's like, Dad, we need to play Mario games. I'm like, okay, we're doing it. So
how can you say no to that?
Yeah.
Like how?
No. And what's so great about it is I think I've said it on here before, but like when they were super, super little, that's all we would play is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And it's just the first level over and over again. And they thought it was the greatest thing ever to make me do that level over and over. And you have to watch the cutscene. Like, it was just like, I'm like, come on, you guys want to see the end of the game? Nope, we don't want to see the end of the game. We just want to keep doing this. So that's what we would do. I've been super sick. As you guys can tell, my voice is almost gone. I actually played some older games too. Like I bought I didn't even do a first look this weekend because it was hard for me to even sit in my gaming chair and get on Twitch. So I didn't really play anything new. We have some games for this week's first look. We got Travis Strikes. Travis Strikes Back. Travis Strikes Again. Whatever. It's the Star Wars in me. I always just say back. So forgive me, guys. One day I'll get the names of games right, but until then, you can just continue to be triggered.
It's not like you're on a podcast or anything.
Right. Speaking of professional podcasting, how about I actually mute some of the notifications that are going off? So, but hey, thanks for the follow. That's what you guys just heard there. So, but I actually played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion, Dark of the Moon. I'm on the. I think I'm on the last area actually. So. Jumped in there for a little bit. The unfortunate thing is I think as far as I got, I then had to turn it off and it wasn't at a saved area. It didn't save. And so so I have to start that part over again. Not a big deal, but it's fine. I want to complete that game. I'm close. So I want to have it done before the third one comes out, and who knows, if I complete this one I might even try to pick up the first one because that one's not a super long game from what I've heard.
No, it's not, but it's still worth playing. I mean, it probably doesn't mean as much today, but when that game came out, it had the best lighting of any video game at the time. Like it was crazy what they were doing with lighting, which by today's standards probably a joke, but it's a great game. Obviously, it was good enough that they're going to make 3 of them. So,
and so pop back in Bayonetta 1 actually because I'm almost through Bayonetta 2, but I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and I'm like, there's no way I can jump back into this right now. So I'm playing through 1 just to get a feel for the game again, and then I'll go and finish 2 as well. So, and these are just stuff I'm kind of playing like handheld. Like you guys know, I don't really sit and just game, like I usually am streaming or I'm working on content or hanging out with the fam. Like those are the things I'm doing. So that's the one thing, when I get sick enough, I can then just kind of sit and lose myself in some games, and so that actually is pretty fun. So kind of cool to jump back into that backlog just a little bit. But one thing that I did pick up, it's not a game, but I from Limited Run Games, they sent an email out. I now have an HDMI adapter for my Super Nintendo. And so I am kind of excited to try that, maybe play some Turtles in Time.
Interesting.
I eventually want to pick up Chrono Trigger so I can play that for the first time. I have Secret of Mana that I've never played, and recently got Secret of Evermore. So
I'm sure you haven't played Earthbound, so you should play that.
nope, that's pricey, bro. Man, these are some expensive ones. So
Well, you could play that on the Mini.
yeah, that's true.
Just don't tell anybody.
I think I have like 4 different copies of Earthbound between my DS and the Wii and the Wii U and the Mini. So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying that thing out. It seems it only works, even though it's the same adapter as the GameCube and the 64. It says it only works on the Super Nintendo, and it only works on the big, the original Super Nintendo, not the Slim or whatever. So
interesting.
Thankfully, I do have a couple of those, but man, they are so beat. Like I just got them in lots, and they're like the last one I got. I think somebody put a cigarette out on it or tried to light it on fire. Like they were testing to see if the the flame resistant material still worked. I don't know what if this could tell me stories, man. It would. I don't know. So anyway, kind of cool. With that, we're gonna jump over to the news. Okay, so there's been no direct for the month of January. Everybody that predicted it, not happening.
That was such an easy prediction too.
Yeah. Well, it isn't happening. So we are seeing something though tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, I believe.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's what they had it in like military time, I believe. So I'm like doing math, and
Well, it should be. It's for Europe.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not really geared towards us. So I'm interested if any of those games aren't going to make it to the North American eShop.
So interesting that they called it Indies Highlights. Which I don't remember what they called the last one, where wasn't the last one they did that was in Europe, didn't that show off the Messenger and Lumens and stuff like that, or Luminous or whatever it's called?
Was that the European one? I know what one you're talking about. I don't remember if that was the...
There's so many of them. They all kind of bleed together. But I feel like there was a couple big hitters. And Mel's in chat here. She could probably remember. But I want to say that was the one that we saw the Messenger at. And wasn't that one? I thought it was following. It was either following E3 not too long after, or it was following the Smash Bros. The Smash Brothers Direct.
I think you are correct. I know it followed a big event, and we were kind of confused on why we were getting more content again, which is not a bad problem. But that one came... Was that one late at night, or was that super early in the morning? We're really bad at this. It's like we should have figured all this information out before we went live.
Well, it's kind of fun to speculate, It's cool. Yeah. I don't mind, just for the sake of conversation. Plus, chat's helping us out. So yeah, the European one was in August. So I remember it being warm, and I remember walking around a Home Depot with my phone and headphones trying to watch. So
okay.
But if I do remember correctly, most of those games that were announced in that thing did come to all the regions. They weren't specific. And Mel's saying they might just be European focused teams, possibly. That may be the case. So
the only thing I would question is usually, or at least the track record has kind of shown that all of these end in, and this is available now.
Yeah.
Do we also get this is available now? That's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm pretty sure most of these devs are going to be worldwide games now, right? But are we going to get it now? Or there may be a free game. Is it going to be free for us? I guess that's what I'm kind of waiting to see. But we'll know in 11 hours. So
yeah, we'll know. Mel saying in chat that all she remembers me saying is, that was it. So, but we'll talk about it a little bit more in our talking points. We'll keep on with the news here. So, next up, the Smash Bros. And Splatoon tournament happening in February. Smash is February 2nd. Splatoon 2 is February 9th. This is being put on by Nintendo. and the winners will compete at PAX East I believe that's in March. So I do have a link where you can sign up. They've said that signups are limited. When I signed up for the Smash one, I was contestant number 266. So not as many people signed up as I thought they would have, but I'm not sure what that number caps out at. So don't wait on that. You have to create I believe it's Battlefly account, which I was really surprised to see. Just because I haven't used that website for so many years, Well, I take that back. We've done other Splatoon tournaments, but the Ninja Yoshi was the one that set it all up, so I didn't have to ever go. Like, I just think I might have made an account and that was it. So, because I'm looking, I'm like, we have past tournaments. So yeah, they'll walk you through it. You need to have your Switch near you when you do it because there's a specific number you're going to need. It's like a customer number that's tied to if you go up to your profile settings, you're going to click that. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's going to say like customer number or whatever. You have to enter that on this page. So you'll need your friend code and that number when you sign up.
Nintendo sure doesn't make things like this easy.
Nope, they don't. So, but I kind of wonder if part of that has to do with the fact that there are people that have bootleg copies and are playing on PC. I even had somebody in my stream saying, is it bad that I'm playing this on PC? I was like, I don't want to have this debate right now. So
yeah,
I don't even think I responded, but so that is happening. That may be the case, but I do have a link to the sign up page right here in the show notes. n64josh.com/NPC168 is where you'll find that link. So next up, Shiver Entertainment is developing Mortal Kombat 11 for the Nintendo Switch. So another realm passed it off. They're also helping with the PC development. Now, what have they done so far on the Switch? Unfortunately, Scribblenauts Showdown, which was not too well received, and they immediately launched a 2-pack of good Scribblenauts games to make up for those sales. And they've also worked on titles like FIFA, Call of Duty, and Guitar Hero. So
and those were all on previous, like the Wii or something, correct?
Yeah, they didn't. What the article I found didn't go into detail on which system those were on.
Got it.
But yeah. So
we didn't see them on the Switch yet, so obviously Guitar Hero and Call of Duty weren't for the Switch.
Right.
But yeah,
the thing to keep in mind, because I've seen a few people say like, well, now I'm going to wait for reviews. Hey, nothing wrong with that, of course. There is the rumor floating around that it's already delayed. Yes, that's unfortunate if you're a big Mortal Kombat fan and you only have the Switch. But remember, delays make for better games. So just keep that in mind. That's not confirmed yet. Still just a rumor.
And all of their press stuff says a release date and all consoles listed, and Switch is included. So they haven't said.
No, it was like an Australian retailer or somebody leaked something. You know how it goes. And again,
right.
Screenshots are easy to make.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't get too up in arms about that yet. It doesn't look like it's going to be delayed, according to them just announcing it the other day, or just showing off more game or final gameplay footage. So
did you watch the videos? What did you think?
As you know, I'm not a huge fighting game fan, but you can't help but see that game and just be impressed that that's running real time. Like, I can't believe how good it looked. I also know that I would be total garbage at that game. So, will I get it? Most likely. Am I going to complain about it every time I play it?
Love it. Yeah.
What did you think?
I was surprised. I was surprised at how, look, we grew up with it, right? We remember seeing the big controversy. It's games like this that's the reason we have the ESRB now, Yep. Like Sub-Zero pulling someone's head off and taking their spine out with it, and Kano pulling a heart out and holding it up in the air like it was brutal stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's so cheesy, right? Like, it's so funny. Like Night Trap, which was the reason for the, another game that was part of the reason for the ESRB.
Didn't
now
that game
rated
get like
teen.
an NC-17 rating?
Oh,
like,
I don't remember exactly, but I know it was real big controversy. It was like your kids will end up turning into the worst citizens possible if they play this game, and now it's rated T on the Switch.
Right. Yeah. Well, and looking at Mortal Kombat, like, it's so over the top now, which could make it a blast and hilarious possibly. But like some of these things that would have been, finishing moves before are just like a normal punch now. Like you can punch someone's skull out now and then they're still alive and keep fighting. Like it's gotten so ridiculous and over the top. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. Which, I mean, I don't know if you ever played a game back in the day. It was called Time Killers. It was a Sega game. And I don't know if you remember, but like you could chop off limbs and things like that. And every time if you chop someone's limb off, if they hit their right arm, just blood would squirt out, or goo or whatever, if they were an alien or whatever. So, Patrick Murphy said, I'm waiting for Scorpion to pull out Game & Watch's spine and Smash Bros. DLC. Like, I mean, there's a chance we could see something like a Mortal Kombat character in Smash, which would be just crazy. But I mean, look, Bayo's a rated M game. It's
Solid Snake.
It's all possible at this point, like, and man, if Sub-Zero or Scorpion came to Smash, oh boy, like, get over here. Like, man, I love that stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
So of course they'd have to have the Super Nintendo finishing moves, like, you know how it was.
Friendship and babality and, and stuff like that.
Yeah, just the middle of the match, all of a sudden Baby Mario's there because they did a babality.
Those were classics though. Like
Totally.
I remember my favorite thing, like I knew some finishing moves, but my favorite thing in the arcade was to win and then not do a finishing move and just go and like punch the guy and everybody in the arcade, because back then people would watch you play.
Yep.
And like that was like my first attempt at being a troll. And so like I would just walk over and just throw a single punch and that would be the finishing move and everyone would be mad and boo.
Oh, I love it. But you're totally right, though. I mean, that was like those were the time, like, you get people gathered around watching those games. And the thing with, I remember just like staring in amazement at Mortal Kombat when it first came out and just being like, this is the best thing. My mom's like, don't even look at that. I'm like, no, Mom, you don't understand how awesome this is. Like,
it was photorealistic, like, it had never been done before, right? Like we had never seen anything quite like that. So it was a sight to be held back then.
Yeah, and I mean all the way up through 3. Like I loved, I think I have 4 on the 64 and maybe a collection. Always enjoyed the series. I mean, the 2 on Super Nintendo was like wow, this is real Mortal Kombat on the system. That was pretty exciting back in the day. But then fast forward to like GameCube, like. I believe it was called Deadly Alliance. There was 2 of them that were, in my opinion, really good fighting games. They were different from the Mortal Kombat formula as far as just like your characters were a little beefier, a little more cartoony, right?
Yeah.
Kind of had a little more of to me, it had a little more of a Soul Calibur vibe. Especially the guy I played as was like, he was blind and had a sword. But man, I just have so many fond memories of playing with buddies and just going at it for quite a while. It was pretty solid titles. So
I had so I had the game on Genesis, and Genesis had the blood, and I had a friend come over and his parents said he can play Mortal Kombat with me, but only if we turned off blood, and
which it's off by default, right? You have to enter the code.
I think on Genesis it was on by default, or maybe I don't remember anymore at this point, but I remember there was definitely blood, and he was trying to argue with me like, no, my parents said I can't. Like, they're not here. Like, we can turn on the blood, they won't know. He's like, no, we can't do that. And, I think I eventually wore him down about halfway through and we turned it on, and and he did not turn out any worse as far as I can tell. Maybe he would have been the president and I ruined it. I don't know. But as far as I can tell, he was fine.
He was on his way to be the next Leonardo da Vinci or something. And
yeah, I totally blew it by turning blood on.
Get going, man. Get going. That's on you. That's on you. So
Yep,
Chase's
sorry,
Dragon says it was off by default. So
Okay. Yeah, everyone figured out. I'm sure GamePro or something told me how to turn it on, and I absolutely did.
well, and part of me just remembers the blood code being a thing. It was like, oh, do you know the blood code? Like the Konami code, but different.
It was so fun to, and I don't know if it's like that anymore, but it was so fun to know finishing moves and to know these people's moves and not tell your friends what they are, and then you do it, and they're like, "How do you do that?" And you're like, "I don't know. I was just pressing buttons. Like I don't know." And then you do it 4 times in a row, and like it just was, yeah. Those were great memories. Those were a lot of fun.
Ganthet from chat says ABACABB. That was the blood code.
There you go. Mel says, "Oh, you were that guy." Yes, I absolutely was that guy. If I ever learned anything, I wouldn't tell anyone for as long as I could, because that was my only competitive edge. I've never been good at fighting games.
Well, it's kind of funny because I had Nick was in chat today while I was playing Smash, and he's like, "Is anybody else feeling fatigue?" And I'm not at all, because I'm just like, I'm so I just want to get better, right? Like I just want to play to get better. Well, I know this spawned in me from a very, very young child, because when Mortal Kombat came out and Killer Instinct and those fighting games, Street Fighter, as soon as I had it on console, that was my time to like figure these games out, learn all these moves, and then go to the arcade and dominate, And if you could pull off those finishing moves, like you were saying, in the arcade, it was kind of a big deal, because you had a quarter to try to, not only beat the person next to you, but then input the buttons correctly, and so they were pretty tough to pull off. And then you start pulling them off, and it's, and then if you just get them in the continuous leg sweep, they always love that, like they always love that. You gotta watch out for that. So, but
classic.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of, we kind of hit on Smash there just a little bit. Sakurai explains Rex and Springman were not chosen as characters because of timing. They had a lot of they basically, the game was too far along by the time Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Springman from ARMS, and so it was a timing issue, and they had based a lot of the characters they were adding to the game off of the fighter ballots that were on around the Wii U, right? Okay. So that's why we see some of those characters carried over that were on that list. And then as far as Piranha Plant goes, it was just meant to be a surprise. Like, no way they're going to do a character like Piranha Plant, right? I mean, it's literally a stationary character in Mario. They never really moved, and here you see these little feet pop out of the pipe, like, so it's
Piranha Plant. It's Piranha Plant's year. I mean, tennis, Smash. I guess 2 years, but it's good times to be Piranha Plant.
Right, absolutely. And speaking of Piranha Plant, guys, you have until the 31st of January to get that code entered. If you bought the game physically, make sure to get your coins. You'll get an email with your code. Check your spam folder, check your promotions folder if you're on Gmail. I kid you not, I've had people come into my chat regularly. Do you know how to get the PD Piranha? Yep, go check your promotions folder if you have Gmail. 2 seconds later, I found it. Thank you so much. Like, they just didn't know. Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. I even had I had a little issue with the Piranha Plant stuff. They asked me not to go into details, so I'm not going to, but their customer service was above and beyond. Above and beyond. And if you're having issues, you can give them a call, but literally there's automation. Like, if you're calling about Piranha Plant, please go to www. It's
wow.
like,
interesting.
There's been a lot of people calling in. So,
interesting.
Let's see here. The next thing on the list is, hey, it's our talking points. Let's head over there. Whoa, we must be getting close to the end. We must be. So let's talk a little more about these indie highlights and maybe some of our predictions for that. Like, and it's kind of tough to say like, oh, okay, let me just pull random games out of the air that I've never heard of before. No,
Right.
No. One of my questions is, what do you think the ratio is going to be of new games versus games that have already been out on other systems? Maybe for quite a while. You know, for instance, like there's a handful of games that I would really love to see like some of the best indie titles I've ever played need to be on the Switch, especially since we have twin sticks now. Geometry Wars, you know, give us a Geometry Wars collection.
That would be amazing.
I know Activision loves money, right? So why isn't this a thing? That should be pretty easy to port over, you'd think. They've got 3 games, 4 if you include the one from Project Gotham. Braid is another game that like is so good. It's so good. Braid is one of those games that I'm like, it's like when I tell somebody about some of the Wii U titles that they missed out on. I'm like, this is you need to play through this game. It's a side scroller that feels a lot like Mario, but you can rewind time, and the end of the game has such a crazy twist that you'll just be like, wow, it pointed to this the entire time and I didn't even see it, you know? So it is a stellar title. But so, you know, what do you think? You don't even have to give a ratio if you don't want to, you can, but if we are going to see older games, what are some that come to mind that you're like, yeah, these shouldn't be missed?
Oh man, as far as indies go, that's kind of the thing, because I didn't play a ton of indies back when. So I'm guessing we're gonna see probably 14 roguelikes. You know, A Hat in Time getting a release date, you know, Wargroove getting a release date. Those are kind of known.
Do you think Wargroove gets the out now?
It's so hard to say. I have no idea. I mean, we have no idea of knowing how far along in development it is, right? Like if they're done, if they're not. I think we do see a game that's out today.
You know what
possibly.
Else? Oh, huh? Yeah. Well, no. Possibly what? I want to hear your guess.
Well, I was gonna say possibly a free game, but what's your guess?
I think Killer Queen Black could also be that game.
Yeah.
And that game, like, as I think about that game, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we're not hearing about any major releases right now, because that game could seriously sell a lot on the Switch. Like, the little bit that I played of that game, nobody is going to want to miss this game. It is so much fun. And go and watch some videos, guys. Like, Kind of Funny did some gameplay stuff. Oh my goodness. Like, have you seen this game? Like how it breaks down and everything? Yeah. Like, so good. Like that's the other one. I mean, look, everybody's calling for Wargroove. Don't get me wrong. Looks cool. It's a game that I would definitely play. I would, you know, I love that kind of game. I missed Advance Wars. I never got to play those games, but I like that genre. But man, Killer Queen Black is one that, like, I kind of forgot about it until we were kind of just sitting here talking. It's
I
like
did too.
That was, I think it was originally supposed to be December.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna see. So what was that Goose game that they showed? Like they didn't have a release date for it when they launched the last demo indies we saw. They had that Goose game that looked completely ridiculous, but then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, like, I need to play as a goose that's menacing people. Like,
the jerk goose.
Untitled Goose game. I assume we're gonna get a release date for that. You know, some of these things are gonna come back to that, like the Windjammers, and you know, so that's kind of what people are expecting. I think we'll get some of that. I completely forgot about Killer Queen Black. Like, just completely forgot about it.
I kid you not, that will be an indie game that pulls me away from Smash. Like, because that's 10 people in Discord, probably 5. We'll probably split up into the teams of 5 so you can communicate. But who knows, if you played it like a couch game and you had 10 people jump into a chat, it could be an absolute riot just trying to yell over each other. And like, I mean, I'm not kidding. If this game has not been on your radar, you need to check it out. It's I believe was originally an arcade game, and
Right.
5-on-5, I believe. 5v5.
5v5.
Yeah, 5v5.
Yeah.
There's a little throwback.
I think you're right.
So yeah, it looks. I mean, plus the pixel art on it, really gets me excited. So, so that's that. So my hopes would be we get solid dates for a handful of these games that we've seen. We get a handful of games that have been around for a while but could see some new life on the Switch, and then a couple of new games that really surprise us, like Floor Kids did, or like Celeste did. Things like that. Like, and maybe we find out about Celeste DLC. Maybe that's the other thing. Maybe some of these indies
that'd be good.
have some DLC stuff that we, But I'm
curious if we'll see Ollie Ollie 2, or not 2, but the Switch. I forget what they're calling it now. I assume they're going to show a quick Ollie Ollie Switch stance video, right? I mean, I don't know where you stand on that, but it's coming out in February, middle of February, so that's going to get played, I'm guessing, because that's going to be a fun game. I enjoyed it, so that'll be a pickup for me.
The thing is, Nintendo has had no shortage of videos on their YouTube channel with all these like indie titles, Yoshi, things like that. There's been no shortage. Like every day I get an email. Oh, Nintendo uploaded a video. It's like, wow. Like they're really pushing a lot of these games. And the thing that I also wonder about is, like, will this thing be very long? Will we see very long runs of any of these titles, or is it literally going to be an indies highlight and we're going to see like 40 games in a matter of 15 minutes, and it's just like 30 seconds, here's Wargroove, here's the date, here's Killer Queen Black, here's the date, like just the name alone highlights makes me think that it's not going to be like, like a showcase or whatever, that it's going to be one of those things that it gets done, I'll be like, that's it. Although then you look back and you're like, oh, that was a lot of games. And I don't even know, like, are they? Well, I don't think they are. So, I don't think we're going to be disappointed, though. I think it's going to kind of get us hyped for indies. And I mean, look, Nintendo's been crushing the indie scene. Like, I talked about it on last week's episode. Dead Cells was 100,000 units on the Switch in the first week. There's potential for for a lot of dreams to come true for some of these indie devs if they put out a solid title. And so
I don't know what Nintendo is doing, but on any other console I'd never really touched many indies. But something about the portable nature, the speed at which you can play games, Nintendo's like the perfect indie machine. It's the best place to, and most of them don't require crazy graphic fidelity, right? So it's the perfect place to play all these indies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nightcrawler saying Bad North was out that day from the last Europe Indies highlight. Chases Dragons is saying one of my favorite devs is bringing their next game to PC, PS4, and Switch. No Xbox. I think this says something. Interesting enough, Xbox actually outsold PlayStation this last holiday, which I was surprised. But the Switch outsold in December, outsold the Xbox by like 800,000.
Yeah,
and outsold the PS4 by 1 million.
I mean, how many PS4s and Xboxes are people buying? Because once you've already bought one, do you need to buy more? Eventually, this number is going to taper off, and Switch is going to far exceed, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's just, I think, during the holiday season, the Xbox One was $100 less than the Switch. Plus, it came with like a month of Game Pass and all that stuff. Like, it's really a good deal in gaming. It's not the best library of games, but still some solid first party games. In my case, I almost bought one because my drives are out in most of my Xboxes. The disk drives don't work. And so,
Okay.
and they haven't I have the day one down in my living room, and it's the drive has never really worked very well. So, won't even play certain Blu-rays. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But overall, I think this is going to kind of be the spark that ignites the fire for the hype train that 2019. And it's interesting. I mean, when we can kind of transition a little bit. When you think about Nintendo in 2019, like, we kind of know a lot of the heavy hitters. How many of these titles are you that hyped for? Do you think it's going to be better than 2018, or do you think it's going to be a lot of people are predicting that it's going to be a lackluster year, which I just can't see with Animal Crossing and Pokemon.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's going to be something for everyone, but I wouldn't say as Nintendo fans, because Nintendo fans are going to have a great year. As Nintendo talkabouts, I think if you're not releasing a major Mario or a Zelda, it's a bad year. That's their gauge for success for Nintendo. You releasing a Zelda or a Mario, which I wouldn't be surprised if we got a remake of the Zelda game by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, I think they have a lot of stuff up their sleeves we don't know about. And maybe a remake isn't a heavy hitter, but I think it could be a pretty big deal. Where's Pikmin 4? We still have a lot of things they haven't announced. We don't know if Metroid's going to be this year. We don't really know if Bayonetta is going to be this year. Animal Crossing and Pokemon are huge. I think no matter who you are, if you're a Nintendo fan, you're going to have something you like this year. Maybe Yoshi's not for you. There's going to be plenty that is for you. Plus, I think we're going to see a lot more third-party support, as we have constantly been seeing more and more of. Like 2 years ago, Captain Logan and I were debating whether Blizzard would ever be on Nintendo, or
Right.
Maybe not quite 2 years ago, but we had this debate, and he said it just doesn't make sense for Blizzard to do it. At that time, that was probably true. The Switch was still really early on. I was kind of being just a hopeful, but clearly they won Blizzard over. Nintendo did enough to show Blizzard, like, okay, maybe we can do this and make some money.
Yeah, Crawler's saying, where's Spyro? Activision, right? And we've seen
Yeah.
leaked stuff too, like we know about like the possibilities of like Assassin's Creed and that kind of stuff, which I've mentioned a few different times to trigger pudding. And so I mean, I think there's going to be some surprises this year. Like, I feel what it feels like is pudding's like Assassin's Creed, like the Enzo collection, right? So so I feel like for this year, like, I feel like Nintendo's kind of like, hey, our cards are on the table, right? But that's not going to be it. It's not going to be it. But we got games like Daemon X Machina. Like, where's that at? When's that coming out? Is it still coming out this year? Did it get delayed? You've got to wonder too, like, when you think about year one and how they came out of that, they came out of their corner just swinging, right?
Yeah.
With all, like, how many Wii U ports are already ready? Like, if they didn't get the third party support and they were going to make sure that games were coming out on a very regular basis, like, how many Wii U ports are just sitting ready? Like Pikmin 3,
Yeah, which I would love. Pikmin Collection, I think, makes so much sense, and I assume we see that. I don't know why they're not announcing Pikmin 4. They've hinted at it. I think Miyamoto said it was done, but he's not allowed to talk about it, which is ridiculous because that was over a year ago now.
Yeah, that was Hey Pikmin. So
that wasn't Hey Pikmin. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of potential, and maybe ports aren't your thing. Maybe you're like, I've already played these games, I don't want to play them again. well, then enjoy some of these amazing indies. You know, Celeste was not a game I would have ever tracked or picked up, but it was my favorite game of 2018, one of my favorite games of all time. Had I just had the stance of I'm not playing it, it's an indie, I don't want to play it, I would have missed out on one of my favorite games of all time. You know, there's so many good. Undertale's another prime example. I just started playing it. I'm honestly not enjoying it, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of people loved it. It's gotten perfect reviews all over the place. Like, these are great games. I think we see more stuff like Octopath Traveler, you know, things we didn't know of will come out in 2019. Things we didn't know we needed are going to start popping up.
Yeah. Is there going to be that surprise Mario sports title? Mario Golf, Mario, Strikers, Mario Sluggers. Like, those games lived on the 3DS, right? They didn't have individual. Mario Golf had its own game. Mario Tennis had its own game. But then Sluggers, Strikers, and Horseback Riders were all available in like the Mario Sports Collection, which was a stellar title, and even if we saw something like that brought over to the Switch, personally, I'd like to see those titles fleshed out a little bit more, because I hear such great things about, especially Strikers. A lot of people really, really like that. And, I'm like Ganthet's saying Mario Baseball, like, I'm a total sucker for baseball. Like, in Mario Party, the baseball game that they have that you go in, where you can set up two switches, like, so much fun, so simple, yet so much fun. So,
yeah, and that's another point. Like, when did they announce Mario Party versus how long we had to wait for it? Like, that was all in 2018.
E3 to October.
Yeah.
June
so,
October.
I mean, we know some major titles coming out this year, right? Luigi's Mansion, allegedly Metroid, but we also know Pokemon, Animal Crossing. Those are going to be huge. I still think we're going to get some amazing titles that they're holding, waiting to announce, to give us that suspense, to have a good E3. So I think it's a good year. It's a good time to be a fan of gaming. Gaming's at the best point it's ever been on any platform. If you don't have a Switch yet, go get one. But whatever console you do have, we're at just such an amazing time for amazing content. Like, storytelling's gotten so good.
Yeah, they're mentioning Fire Emblem in chat. Like, there really is just so many titles. Like I said, it's like the cards are on the table. And speaking of cards, like, we've seen some card games that were announced for as far as indies go. You know, and are we going to see more of those? Is Blizzard gonna? Do they have something more to announce? Like the Switch. From my understanding, Blizzard and Activision are kind of they're not meeting quotas or whatever. Like, maybe the Switch is a way to meet some of that, meet some of those numbers. It's hard to say. And kind of like what you're talking about, like with the Pikmin collection, that kind of stuff. Like, I want to see the Switch become like the Zelda machine, the Mario machine, that kind of thing. That's what I want. But at the same time, we talked a little bit ago about how the indies are thriving so much, and I think a key factor in that is the fact that Nintendo has held back on the virtual console and said, no, we're going to give games for free. I know that it frustrates some people. Like, I understand, I totally get it, but would the Switch's eShop and everything look the same if it was filled with first party retro games?
Well, in current state, no, you wouldn't be able to find anything because they don't know how to sort. but for me personally, I'm gonna buy the virtual console titles I want, but it wouldn't deter me from getting the indies I want as well. But I could see, for people who are on a limited budget or people who have limited time, who are not on a podcast, they might say, like, I'm gonna get one game. I know I love Super Mario World. Maybe I'll like this other indie. I just don't know if I want to gamble. I want to play a sure thing, So I could see that. I mean, I don't like it, but I could see that being the logic.
Yeah. It's just interesting to think about, like, where would things be if we did have the virtual console? We might have less complaining online, but would Dead Cells have sold 100,000? I don't know. And the only reason I say that, it's not that it's not that like having Zelda in the eShop takes away from Dead Cells being there. But what happened with the Wii, what happened with the Wii U is it was, hey, Ocarina of Time is coming out, and so are these indies. How many people picked up those indies when they dropped the same week? So now they're dancing around those release dates as well. They're fumbling over each other. They're, because it was like on a weekly basis that Nintendo had first party games coming out. I never even like looked at the indie titles because it was like, oh no, that's a first party game. I want that.
Did they have the like showcase that they're having now for indies back then though? Because they're doing a really great job of getting them out there, and that's only for the ones they choose. Some of them have complained like it's impossible to figure out how to get Nintendo to send a tweet out, so, but the ones they do advertise, they're doing a great job getting out there and putting in front of the eyes of millions of people.
I completely agree. Yeah, they are doing great. And Mel's saying no, they didn't do that in the past. They had 2 humble bundles, but that was it. So, so yeah, it's a different time, and we're seeing the Switch thrive in this market. Would I love to see more, virtual console? Of course. I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Part of me loves the fact that like my Wii U has I could play almost every Zelda game on there, right? Yeah. And that's what I want to see for the Switch, and hopefully in time we will get there. Especially having the handheld aspect of it, having those games because Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Minish Cap, those are games I've never played through. Even Link's Awakening, I've started it, but I've never completed it. And so, I can't wait till we start seeing Game Boy games on the Switch. Just because it was like, hey, that was the main handheld back in the day. Yeah. And so,
did you talk about the SNES rumors last week?
Yeah, we touched on it briefly. Like the thing is, there were so many data miners found Link in Aces, and then they came back and said, "Oh, never mind. No, they didn't." And then so right. Like it's like I'm of the mind that I'm like when I hear something solid, sure, but
I'm just more thinking if that's true, I think that's the direction they're going to take virtual console. With the Switch, I don't know that we'll ever see if we see Super Nintendo games released monthly like we're getting. I don't think we see virtual console. I think that's going to be their way to bleed them in. Which if you want these games virtually, get a 3DS or a Wii U.
Well, and then at that point, like put together Zelda collections of. The 64 collection, right? HD, like, I mean, they've got them done on the 3DS. Like, bring those over in a single cart. I would definitely love that. Last thing I have to mention today. This happened today. My dad, I got him the NES Classic for Christmas, and I didn't think he'd get hooked up. Right. I didn't think it would. Well, I got pictures on Sunday. My mom sent me pictures of him playing Punch-Out. Right. Uh-huh. And he tells me today we're walking around the shop and he's like, I can't beat Piston Honda. I know. He's like, I know when he comes at me and just starts throwing those punches, I know that there's a punch I can do. I just can't remember it. Like he's totally into it. He's like, I played it for like 2 hours.
How many attempts did it take him to beat Glass Joe, just out of curiosity?
I'm not sure.
It's important that you ask him that before next week. I need to know. The people need to know.
So, yeah, I was absolutely cracking up because he's not one to he doesn't like dislike gaming. He's just, it's sports titles. It's not really, I mean, we've played Madden throughout the years, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I guarantee they both sat in the living room, and my mom probably just sat there playing her little game on her iPad, just loving the sounds that were coming out of the TV. And she even told him, like, you're gonna have to not get so angry, like,
That's like what she was probably telling you 20, 30 years ago,
Well, she actually said he was being like my little brother.
That's funny. Nintendo has something that not everyone else does, and it is that family nostalgia factor. Like, Xbox doesn't have it. It's right. Too young of a console. There's just something about that, and I feel like they're finally embracing it and capitalizing on it, and it's been a good run with Nintendo for the last couple of years, and I hope they get to Disney level and do things we never even thought of.
Oh, I'd love it. Hey, let's wrap this thing up, man. Where can people find you?
You will find me on Discord. And remember, NPC fam, we need you to jump in Discord. Say what's up to Nightcrawler. Say hate sent you. He's killing me. It's just gloating all over. You'll also find me on Twitter at HateZero. Eventually, I keep saying the Twitch thing. It's gonna happen. Just come on. Just hold on. So, do join the Discord. It's amazing. So many people.
Yeah, it's a really good time. We did have that one magical stream where you played that. What was that game? I don't even remember. Like something Suicidal Bob or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Jeez, what is that? I still have that game. Suicide Guy.
Yeah.
That was a surprisingly fun game.
Oh, Nightcrawler's calling you out. When is our game off? He says. When is our game off? So I don't know what you guys are gonna play. Maybe some tennis.
We're gonna have a gaming Olympiad where my goal is to even take him at his own game. If I can beat him at Smash, he'll never be able to speak to anyone again.
Oh, okay. So we got to set this up to where it's like if you can beat him in Aces, you get to play Smash with items on.
There you go. We'll talk about it. We'll be in touch, Nightcrawler. I don't know how you became my nemesis, but here we are.
Right. Guys, there is happening this weekend. The time is not completely set in stone yet, but it's going to be Saturday evening, late afternoon, depending on where you live. We're taking on another podcast in Smash. There's going to be like kind of like a squad strike or whatever, if you will. So we're building teams and getting ready to take each other on, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good time. I'm looking forward to it here. I want to see if I can find the name of that other show. So many messages in my Twitter inbox right now. Just scroll down here, see if I can't find it. Here we go, Nintendo Jump Podcast. I knew it had Jump in the name. I just wanted to make sure I got the name right. So they're going to be joining us in a head-to-head. So make sure to check out their show. That'd be awesome. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter at N64Josh. Everything is N64Josh. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Instagram is where I'm having the most fun right now, so jump on over there. It's really, really a good time. I busted out my camera this weekend and was really trying to take some cool shots of my collection. So come check that out. Check that out. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye now.